Hello and welcome back to the Entertainment Vortex. Today we were at Brendan Theaters watching Detective Pikachu. This one was a little exciting for me. I love Pokemon, as you can tell by the shirt, and the fact that we made content around Pokemon for a good 6 months worth of time. It's one of my favorite franchises growing up. I have a lot of nostalgia dug into that franchise, and I love the RPG games. It's really interesting to see those things brought to real life, so to speak, through computer-generated graphics. And I felt like they did a really great job making them look like something that could potentially exist in real life, kind of replacing what regular animals would be. You kind of see Pidgeys flying around, Rattatas in terrible places in town, that sort of a thing. Aside from just that, I felt like the visuals in this movie overall, the color palette they used, the way that they shot the city and they made it feel kind of grimy, I felt all of that was really well done, and I appreciated kind of the art style that they chose to go with this. It was something where there was always something beautiful to look at, something interesting to look at, and then obviously you kind of go, ooh, I know that Pokemon, that sort of a deal. And I also did like that it wasn't just for the OG 151 fans. There was definitely a lot of stuff sprinkled throughout some of the different series from Pokemon, so it wasn't just red, blue, and yellow people. I felt like the acting performances had good weight. Justice Smith was somewhat charismatic as the lead, definitely more so than the only other thing I've seen him in, which was Fallen Kingdom. Definitely did not appreciate his role in that film, but this one was a little more nuanced, had a little more weight to it, and I appreciated that character more. But obviously, Ryan Reynolds steals the show. Even as a voice actor, he just had those funny dialogue moments, and some of the things that were meant to be a little bit more for the adults bringing the kids to the show, well dug on into subtext, so that way it's not something over the top that a kid's gonna be like, what does that mean, Daddy? That kind of a thing. While saying that this movie does have positives, it definitely has negatives as well. The storyline is pretty rough. It's not just that they made something that was overcomplicated, especially for something that's definitely aimed more towards children with the way that the dialogue is written, but it was also just everything felt like it was super over the top with the exposition. It wasn't something where they showed us things and we got everything from the runtime through the movie. It was, oh, let's stop for 30 seconds and I'll tell you these exact things and this is the way that it works. Nick and I were discussing it before we sat down to actually record this. There was a lot of moments where things just really conveniently happen, and it's not for any other purpose than continuing to move the plot forward. And that's unfortunate. It just doesn't work organically. It's not something where you have things that work through in the dialogue and people get to the places they need to because of a purpose, rather than it just being like, oh, I stumbled upon this thing that's super important to the plot. Thank God for that. Overall, there are a lot of things to pick up from, especially if you are a big Pokemon fan. They dug in little tunes into the actual score for people who have played the games, who've watched the anime. It was a lot of fun. Like I said, it's definitely not the best movie that I've ever seen, but it was something where, getting to see all of those Pokemon from my childhood up on the screen and interacting with real-life humans, it was just entertaining in that way. It wasn't something where I would say it could ever have the potential to even fathom winning an award of any variety, but it was just good fun. Turn off your brain, try to avoid how terrible the plot is in some places, and just have a good time. I would definitely say if you are a Pokemon fan, this is worth the watch at least once. If you aren't a Pokemon fan, you might want to steer clear of this one. I'm going to say for me, it's a 7 out of 10. It could have been a lot better if the plot had kind of been worked out and things had moved through the story organically like they should have.
If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. We give you multiple videos every single week. And we have t-shirts available if you're interested in those as well. Those are available down in the description below. We hope you'll follow us into the Vortex. We'll see you next time.